If I'm just allowed to sort of talk, I just sort of start making these amorphous clouds of waffly nonsense.
My name's Arber and welcome to this week's episode of the Formica Table podcast, where we'll be discussing episode 10 of Twin Peaks The Return. As usual, I'm joined by Killer Rob and Mark, manufactured for a purpose, Walker. Rob, tell the fine folks about yourself.
Hello, I'm Rob Valentine and I find you attractive.
And Mark, do you have something to say?
Hello, listeners. How are you today? Hello, listeners. How are you today? Hello, listeners. How are you today?
Hit him.
Hello,
hit him.
Listeners. How are you today? Hello, listen. You can fade that out.
Yeah, I was going to see how long you'd go on for, but
That's a game of chicken you don't want to play. That.
No. Okay, so episode 10. Let's do a quick speed round of what we thought overall. Starting with you, Rob.
Okay, I was off the bat. Do you know what I miss? Forget the episode. Can we forget the episode? Can we forget the episode for a second? What I really miss is
Previously on Twin Peaks.
this episode. I suddenly realised I missed that. I don't know why. It's not a big. It's a tiny thing.
Previously on Twin Peaks.
Yeah, but this week I just.
If this is like an 18-hour film, in the middle of the film, you don't get somebody going, in the first half of the film, this is what happened.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it isn't a film, though, is it? I mean,
It isn't though. That's the thing.
Come on, play along with David Lynch. He's saying it's an 18-hour film.
No, he's written it like an 18-hour film, but he's showing it as like 18 episodes of television. And that's the dichotomy. I think that's part of the big problem of this whole thing, really.
Yeah.
Of the Enterprise, is that it's written in a format that's not suited to the way it's being delivered.
There lies the rub. That is the problem with this. Okay. Right. My overall impression was this is the plot development episode about 3 weeks too late, I think, maybe. But it was. I'm not sure what this was. It was plot progression, but it somehow failed to be interesting.
I missed Rob coming round with donuts.
Yeah.
And Jason, your wife, coming in with beer, and just those. It was a more lonely experience this week. We're all back in. We're back in our respective homelands. It was solid enough episode of Twin Peaks: The Return. As far as this series goes, it was a relatively decent-ish episode. We will have to go deeper, I think, really. But there's some fun moments which we'll talk about, and some sort of better crafted scenes than last week. It was less of a bread sandwich than it was last week. Maybe there's a decent helping of butter in the sandwich this week, maybe. But yeah, I mean, nothing earth shattering, and sort of frustratingly so.
Yeah, I felt, as I described it to you guys, a bit of a kind of treading water episode where, stuff's happening, the plot is being pushed along, but, at the end of it, I was like, yeah, it was all right. That was okay.
In its defense, it wasn't introducing new stuff. It was progressing stuff it has previously introduced.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was doing the thing that we've been moaning for a while that it hasn't been doing, which is developing the things that it's already been established, as opposed to setting up new stuff constantly. Which so it's doing the right thing. Perhaps it's just the way it's doing it that's sort of unsatisfactory, simply because it's so late. A lot of this stuff.
Okay, so let's get into it. The episode starts off with
Dick, appropriately.
Yeah.
I'm in a funny mood, sorry.
Richard Horne going round to Miriam's house, or caravan, I should say. The thing that was set up, I don't know, it feels like months ago now, where Richard knocked down a small child and was witnessed by Miriam.
It feels like longer ago because I keep trying to push it away from myself, that scene. I'm actively sort of pushing it to the very back of my memory. so that I don't have to think about those extras.
Yeah, that was my big question right off the bat, is what is the time frame of this? Because this was yesterday.
Yeah. So what episode was that? It was like episode 6, right? Yeah, it was episode 6, wasn't it? So now that's sort of 4 episodes ago, and in the series chronology, it's yesterday. So we're talking roughly about 2 episodes per day or something.
If the whole thing is being told sequentially, and I'm not paying that enough. I haven't studied this forensically, but for all I know, it isn't this. We're not getting our scenes and plot lines chronologically. I don't know. Jason, have you figured that out?
Well, yeah, it's definitely something I've looked into, and I think we are getting things relatively sequentially. Like things that are happening in different places are happening at similar times.
It's been a busy 24 hours.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, actually. That's a crazy 24 hours.
But there are lots of locations and lots of people in play, so, I mean, if this is all happening just in Twin Peaks, it would be a heck of a 24 hours.
Yeah, you're always defending it.
But anyway, Richard is trying to find out what Miriam has said to the police.
Hey, I just want to talk to you.
I already told the police it was you who ran over the little boy.
You already told the police?
Yes.
But she's also sent a letter to Sheriff Truman, and with that's the trigger for Richard to go on his first violent spree of the episode. And knocks her unconscious. Not sure whether she's dead, but
she's still breathing, I noticed.
I liked that because that seemed true to life and realistic to me. Mortal head wounds, but just left to her own devices, she could be alive for another 2-3 hours before she pegs it.
He did turn the gas on and light a candle, presumably to blow up the trailer.
I was thinking about what is she? Isn't she a teacher at the school?
Yeah, she is.
And do teachers in America live in trailers? Because there's something seriously wrong with the.
It's Trump's America, isn't it?
Well, when we were first introduced to her, I think it's indicated that she has some kind of cash flow problems because she buys like 2 pies, and Shelley and Heidi are a bit worried that she can't afford that, and so they say
She can't afford to leave a tip like that.
I know, poor thing. But she just loves our pies. You know what? Next time, let's treat her.
Oh, yeah, great. Great idea.
But they've saved on that bargain because I don't think she's coming in. So there you go.
I thought also continuing, it was a sort of surprisingly mild in terms of its violence. I mean, given that we're on sort of cable TV now, and Lynch is quite partial to a bit of gleeful gore. He's being very reserved, I think.
Well, I think he was keeping his powder dry for later on in the episode.
I was kind of surprised we got the shot inside her home, seeing her body. I kind of thought the camera would just stay outside and leave it to her imaginations.
And then we go from there, we go to the Fat Trout, or the new Fat Trout trailer park, and Carl playing his guitar.
Come and sit by my side, little darling. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. Just remember.
Yeah.
Bless him. Yeah.
It's doing pretty well, I thought, for a guy,
in his 90s.
Yeah. I kind of hope we get more. I'm curious about where they're going with him, because at the moment he's almost like a bit of a Greek chorus. But
yeah, I hope they do. I hope he's more than just like, okay, we needed a proprietor of the local trailer park. Hey, why don't we just get Harry Dean Stanton, because he was running the trailer park in the movie, even though that was miles away, wherever it was. And because he is a bit wallpaper.
Even just having him bear witness to stuff, he kind of brings a humanity to it just by being there. Like, even the scene we're talking about now, where he's playing his guitar and then the red mug comes flying out the window. He's been around forever and he's seen too much, and it's it's the same old stuff as it ever was, and he's got the weight of his 90 whatever it is he is on him, and I'd like to see more of him in future episodes. And I'm just
I mean, he's Harry Dean Stanton, so it'd be nice to see him do a bit more, something a bit meatier.
So we've got Stephen Burnett being a bit mean to his wife Becky Burnett, Amanda Seyfried. Oh, Rob, help me out here.
Seyfried.
Oh, Rob, don't ruin it.
I looked it up.
So there seems to be a lot of domestic violence in this episode.
Lynch loves that, though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He loves it, yeah.
Do you think it comes from a place of misogyny, or just sort of...
No, I don't, but I think probably he has... I mean, because it's such a prevalent occurrence in nearly all of his films, he must have seen something of it, either at home or... I don't know. I mean,
I think David Lynch loves women, so I don't think it comes from a place of misogyny.
So too.
But I have seen that argument levelled at him. So
I think he's working through something. It's a constant with his work, but I think it's something he's probably not exercising, but it's a reality that's there. It's out in the world, and it's something that he feels compelled to incorporate.
Well, I mean, Harry Dean Stanton's sort of commentary on it sort of probably echoes Lynch's own. He says, like,
fucking nightmare.
And Lynch shows us these sort of often sort of nightmarish domestic scenes, and of course, sort of marital abuse. Admittedly, it's nearly always men against women, but then it is in reality. So
and we're sort of forced passively to observe it the way the kids would. That's kind of the position you kind of get forced into. I did think there was some really great snotty nose acting in this scene. That was really horrible.
Again, it's the kids stole the show this week. As they always do. And
it was really great going from nonagenarian Harry Dean Stanton to this incredibly young couple. This old guy alone at the end, and these two at the beginning, and for them it's terrible.
That's quite beautiful when you put it like that in a dark way. But I thought it was quite funny that what struck me almost immediately was how similar this scene was to scenes of Shelley and Leo from the original series.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that was probably intentional, but particularly this sort of paranoia. Is he sort of accusing her of sort of turning tricks?
No, he said we can't really afford this. He was shouting at her because she wasn't earning enough money, which is pretty rich coming from him, because he doesn't have a job at all.
Yeah, at least Leo was a trucker.
Yeah, at least you've got that. And he did show Shelley how to scrub a floor. So
he did, yes, which is a trade that you can take, forward into life.
People will always need floors.
It made me wonder as well, who is her dad? Because we don't know that yet, do we?
No. Maybe Leo managed to escape from the tarantulas, and
yeah, because that's where we saw him last, wasn't he? There was a box of poisonous. Were they tarantulas? A tarantula's poisonous, though. They're not particularly dangerous, are they? Because everyone goes on about tarantulas, or they did in the 80s anyway.
They're not poisonous. They're venomous. There's a difference between poison and venom. And a tarantula bite is venom. And yes, all tarantulas are venomous, for sure.
And as far as we know, in the Twin Peaks universe, he is still there.
But he's not on the cast list, is he? Is he in
He's not on the cast list. No, he's not.
That's a shame.
Returning.
He. I mean, to be fair, he earned it. A lot of that spitting and rocking backwards and forwards, they should have him back for a couple of lines at least, honestly.
But it's only the second time we've met those characters.
Is it only that?
We did meet him previously when he was going for a job interview.
Oh, yeah, that's right. With Mike. Yeah.
And that's it. This is scene 3 for him. pretty much.
Yeah, I think it does suffer in a way from being so disjointed. I mean, you kind of, that it was a very strong introduction, and we all had that sense of her. Rebecca, is it?
Becky, yeah.
Becky, right. I mean, we all had this sense that something was crackling around her, some kind of energy. There was a sort of a portent, sort of Laura Palmer-ness about her, and we thought, oh, this is going to go somewhere, and there's sort of expectation with that, and now we're sort of more than half the way through, and it's like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
And there's so much time in between, these strands sort of being picked up. I think it's just indicative of just too many strands and too much kind of going on, really.
I mean, there's a not unjustified argument to make that there are perhaps too many characters in this new season, which
I read an interview with Robert Forster, and I don't know if he was sort of being slightly sardonic, but he said, it was great to be part of this cast, which has about 261 people in it. I mean, that's mad.
And I think it's 261 speaking roles or something crazy like that. After that, we have a change of pace where we see Rodney Mitchum checking things off on his gangster list.
Yeah, did it say casino security log or something like that? I think, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on what it actually said, but he's ticking things off while there's a fly loose, and
about this house.
Yeah, and we get Candy, played by Amy Shields, trying to get rid of this fly, and it was like telegraphed from a mile away what was going to happen, but I enjoyed it all the same. I liked the really silly lead up to it, and obviously Rodney gets a smack in the head from a remote control when Candy's trying to get the fly.
I get irritated by the fact, like, who would try and swat a fly with a remote control? Just stuff like that I find sort of distracting. Like, why didn't she sort of pick up a newspaper or something like that?
Yeah, I know, but there's something about Candy that makes me think she's like a female Dougie or something like that. She seems to be a little bit not quite there.
I wondered if she had I would have wondered if she was sort of putting it on and she was a bit cannier than she let on, that she had her own agenda going on. Particularly with that conversation that she had with is it Anthony, the Tom Sizemore character?
Yeah.
Later, I thought, oh, has she got something of her own sort of cooking here? And did she derive some pleasure from whacking the Mitchum brother around the face?
I don't know. I think with Candy, I think when she went out and she started talking about the air conditioning, I truly believe that's what she was saying. Especially when you go back and look at all the arm gestures and stuff like that she's doing, the slightly puzzled look on Tom Sizemore's face.
Yeah.
But what I quite liked as well was the contrast between the previous episode, where these are gangsters and you expect them to have like a violent response, and yet they were doing everything in their power to say no, it's all right, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's
I'm fine.
true. Yeah, that's true. And later they have this little conversation about Candy, also in the security room.
She's on her way.
I know. We find her. She's got no place to go.
It's like the sort of caring, sharing type of gangsters,
Yeah.
It's, I think Lynch likes to do that. He likes to play with sort of stereotypes, which is
makes them human, doesn't it? It's that lovely compartmentalization of their viciousness and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So after that scene, we jump to Dougie finally going to the doctor and having a bit of a checkup, because even though we know that Dougie maybe has periods where he's a bit spaced out, clearly this is a little bit more serious, and so Janie is trying to explain that to the doctor.
But he's just acting peculiar.
Peculiar. He takes his shirt off.
Dougie, have you been exercising?
And I have to say, he's pretty buff for a 58-year-old guy.
Is he 58, Carl McLaughlin?
He is, yeah.
He looks all right.
My wife Rena was just going. I mean, you know who Rena is, but I'm just for the audience. My wife Rena,
Clean Reen,
was her eyes were on stalks, going, "Oh, hello," and she's now a Dougie convert. So,
I mean, that was a cheap move, wasn't it? Getting all the ladies on side and whoever else.
Nicely played, Mr. Lynch.
Yeah, just when everyone was ready to sort of write in letters of complaint about that character.
So it turns out that there's nothing physically wrong with Dougie, and in fact, quite the reverse. He's his blood pressure is as good as it can possibly be, and he's in fine fettle, and it almost seems like Janie has not quite seen him revealed in this way, and she just gets that kind of smile on her face, which is like, oh,
is that called DTF? Isn't it? I learned that today.
DTF.
Yeah. Do you not know that?
No.
It's an acronym for down to.
Down to what?
That word.
F.
The word. Yeah,
down to fish?
F.
Yep. Come on. Down to fuck.
Yes, I know. I was just trying to goad Mark into saying it, and mission accomplished.
And that's the point of that scene, basically. To get Janie E. interested in him. Yeah.
I don't know where that stuff is going. I just wish they'd get on with it, really.
The only kind of story there, really, is that she gets feelings for Dougie again in a way she maybe hasn't for years, and then she has to lose him because he's not really Dougie. That's the only thing I can see in her future, and we're spending an awful lot of time getting there.
I think probably it comes about because, I mean, Lynch is very fond of Naomi Watts, understandably, so he's given her really quite something, quite a bit to do, but it's not that fun for the rest of us.
I mean, I'm quite enjoying her performance, to be honest, and the last few Dougie episodes I've been quite on board with. I think the earlier ones, I am a bit of a convert. I think the earlier scenes just went on way too long, and when we get Dougie in short bursts, then
but definitely,
I'm quite happy about that.
I prefer the short bursts rather than the sort of 17-minute sort of segments. But
yeah, with the Dougie stuff, the last couple of episodes he's been in it relatively
sparingly,
a few times, but I'm already exhausted by him. But I'm also starting to think, in terms of the story, I guess Dale Cooper wasn't really necessary, but was having Carl McLaughlin in it some way conditional. So they had to basically have him in it for weeks on end, even though they didn't need him. Or I don't know. I'm thinking,
I mean, I'm so happy that he's there for Mr. C. For me, Mr. C is the protagonist of this show, because I know Dougie Jones in a way is really, if there is a protagonist, which there isn't really, but if there was, it would be Dougie Jones. But that's not working, and so Mr. C is sort of the next best thing. And I
think you're absolutely right.
I miss Mr. C when he's not in an episode.
He's the one character who's, even though we may not know what it is, who has a very specific goal and drives everything along.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's what a protagonist should do. You can't really have a protagonist like Dougie who is just reacting to everything around him. He's not pursuing his own agenda. He's letting other people's agendas come to him. We go back after Dougie's been to see the doctor. We go back to the Mitchum brothers, and the TV is on, and it's local news, and we see Ike the Spike has been arrested, and I think those guys have clearly got a hit on Ike the Spike, and they're high-fiving each other and going,
Brad, remind me to call off that hit on Ike.
Save us a wackadoo. Nice.
On the news report, we see that the footage that we spoke about in previous weeks of when Dougie was attacked and karate chopped Ike the Spike, and the Mitchum brothers realise that Mr. Jackpots is Dougie Jones.
I was giggling, actually. That was probably my favourite Dougie scene, mainly due to Naomi Watts, who was really, really funny in that scene. She was sort of hysterical.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mark. It was hysterical the way Dougie kept reaching for the cop's badge, and Naomi's just sort of like,
No, Dougie, don't do that.
It was a really, really funny performance.
It just feels like such a huge tangent, all that stuff. I know it's fun. I'm sure people will enjoy seeing Naomi Watson, Carl McLaughlin with their kit off, if that floats your boat. And it's remotely sort of a little bit funny. And
I found actually that scene with Janie and Dougie quite funny, the way he's just eating that chocolate cake and she's all kind of slouched over the chair going, "Hey babe." And he's just completely oblivious to it.
There is something, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but there is something about these Dougie Jane E scenes, it's something about the sort of mundanity of sort of suburban life. The fact that she can he's just eating that chocolate cake, but she can read what she wants into this sort of blank canvas of a man. In that, she's completely kind of game on. It's business time. And he's just eating his cake, pretty much oblivious to what's going on in her head and her pants. So there's something sort of funny about that in terms of there's a sort of commentary on just how many millions of miles couples can be, maybe, in the sort of banality of sort of everyday life.
But I have to say, Coop did look like he was enjoying that attention he was getting from Janie E at the end.
Dougie! Dougie!
Yeah, he did, bless him. But I mean, it's just I don't know. Oh, it's just so silly, so silly.
But I worry about Sonny Jim, the fact that this kid is now going to be scarred for life.
Yeah. I can't ever remember my mother sort of screaming my father's name out. That's probably fault of my father, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think that's regular. Yeah.
I'm totally not cutting that out.
You heard it here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was kind of, because obviously it's not Dougie, it's Agent Dale Cooper, and he's in there, and he's not really in a position to consent, is he?
It's rape.
Yeah, it's rape, isn't it? Yeah, she raped Dale Cooper.
Wow.
Let's move on.
Anyway, after that, we hear another broadcast from Dr. Jacoby, and he's ranting about the medical profession, because obviously he was struck off, so he's probably got an axe to grind or a shovel to polish.
Why don't these monsters bite into those tasty treats themselves? Because they'll die in the streets, just like us.
He's being listened to intently by Nadine.
Yeah, who thinks he's a bit of a hottie.
He's so beautiful.
And she looks like she's been successful in getting her silent runners to work, because she's got her own shop called Silent Drapes.
Run Silent Run Drapes.
That's the one. That's the one, yeah.
With a golden shovel in the window.
Yeah.
One thing it does turn a pathetic, tragic little suburban fantasy into making it a success story, makes it into something else.
I suppose so. Yeah.
But also, it's just, it's very, very easy shorthand for her character. I mean, too easy shorthand for her character. But it's like that seems to be what they're doing with a lot of the old cast. Is hey, here they are. Here's their catchphrase. You're not going to see him again.
Yeah. At this point in time, it does feel like the old cast are there to almost act as like reassurance that this is Twin Peaks, and bar the sheriff's office, there doesn't really seem to be much in the way of plot development happening with the old cast. We've just got Shelley, who's still in the diner. We've got
doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Shelley, James, a couple of lines.
Yeah.
Norma,
yeah.
Norma, nothing. Ben looks like something might be cooking there, hopefully. But yeah, not a lot, really. Lucy and Andy are the ones who've had the most sort of screen time. So you're right, in short, you're right, Jason. They're kind of like, they're almost like props, in a way.
But we do see Jerry again. this time he's not going to be fooled by the forest.
You can't fool me! I've been here before!
He's been there before. I have no idea what's going on with Jerry. It's like, okay, he's still in the forest.
They're sticking with it though, aren't they?
They are, 10 out of 10 for commitment.
We say it every week, but it's got to go somewhere. It's got to go somewhere.
Was he behaving more beleaguered or anything? I don't know.
Like there's a progression in his
attitude to the. I don't know.
Maybe he's starting to come down a little bit. He seems maybe less high.
I don't know.
It's difficult to say in a 10-second scene.
I have remarkably little to say about a lot of this, and I think that's actually worth saying. It's okay, it's them, it's that. Okay, good. Treading water, yeah.
Treading water. But in other news, Johnny Horn is not dead. He's still alive. And we get to see him and his headless teddy bear.
Well, I got a lot to say about this scene. I liked it a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I thought this scene with Dick Horn coming to Robbie's grandma had a real Kubrick vibe to it.
Clockwork Orange.
Naughty, 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 you filthy old soonker.
Now listen here, you little bastard. Just turn round and walk out of here the same way as you came in.
Clockwork Orange, definitely. I think there was it seemed to me like deliberate nods to that.
Don't even think of getting out of your car, Richard.
Came to see you, Grandma.
Stay away, or I'll call the sheriff.
Come on, Grandma.
No, stop it.
I just want a couple of dollars.
It seems to confirm with that sort of revelation that Dick is the grandson of Sylvia and Ben, so therefore looking fairly likely that he's the unfortunate sort of bastard of Mr. C via Audrey.
Yeah.
Probably in a coma at the time.
Because we're starting to run out of family members that he could possibly be the son of. He's clearly not the son of Johnny.
Yeah.
And he is the grandson, as you say, of Sylvia and Ben. So that really does only leave Audrey, really, as his mum.
Yeah. So it's that's pretty much confirmed. So either Mr. C sort of went where Cooper abstained, or he raped her in the hospital, which is pretty grim stuff. But the music as well, that's very Kubrick.
Yes.
I don't know what that was, but there's the fact that it was sort of playing under
just that relaxing classical music.
Exactly.
Underneath.
Yeah. That contrast of sort of like really violent visuals with this sort of exactly very very sort of comforting, wistful sort of classical music. I can't remember what it was,
and it was just also kind of like vaguely nightmarish as well. The fact that Johnny Horn is tied to a chair, staring at this headless teddy bear that's just constantly repeating this thing. It was like, I was like, this is you can't treat people with mental health problems like this.
It made me think of is it David Prowse, I think, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, something about Johnny made me think of David Prowse in Clockwork Orange as well. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was probably one of the strongest scenes of the series so far.
Richard steals a bunch of money from the safe and some of his grandma's jewels and heads off with a bit of a potty mouth. Drives off. Presumably he's leaving Twin Peaks for the time being. Oh, there was something that we forgot to mention as well, is in that after Richard kills or seriously injured Miriam, he gets Chad to check through the mail.
I'm going out, Lucy. I see the mailman. I'm going to collect the mail.
But he'll bring it in.
Well, I'm going to save him the trouble and go out and enjoy this beautiful day.
I actually thought that was quite a nice scene with Chad, where he's pretending that it's a lovely day, and he's not really fooling Lucy at all. And just the whole thing with the mailman, sort of like, awkward waves and, I'm not going in yet. I've still got to check through the post.
Without quite fooling the postman, and even without quite fooling Lucy. So, yeah, I do like Lucy actually being in some way involved in actual important goings on. Even in a minor way, rather than just unconnected vignettes.
I think the thing about Lucy is that she's actually quite a smart cookie, and she's definitely a bit dappy, but she's also, she has this, like, she can read people, and she get a measure of people.
So you've also seen that in the way she manipulates her husband.
Yeah.
To get exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to end badly for Chad. I think somehow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as well. But I don't know. I'll miss Chad because he's such a bellend.
Everyone I know who's called Chad is a total bellend. It's a curse, that name. It's a curse.
But the funny thing is, where Dick Horn is he's pure evil.
Yeah.
Chad is like the believable schmuck of evil. He's the loser he's not smart enough, or principal. He's the pathetic face of evil, and that's real. And
if the good guys were winning, if he thought the good guys were winning, he'd be on their side.
Yeah.
He's just out for himself, basically.
Yeah, it's evil that comes of weakness.
The worst kind of evil.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
But I can't help, on some level, I can't help but I care about him too, because he's the way he is, because he's weak and he's stupid and he's cowardly and a bit venal. But they're weaknesses rather than he's not some satanic, chock full of darkness kind of character like Dick is.
Yeah.
I mean, Chad's got a horrible, horrible fate awaiting him, obviously, because he's got it fucking coming, because he's a dick. But I'm going to feel kind of sorry for him when it happens, in the way I won't when it happens to the actual Dick.
I don't know, though. Probably, I actually, is he redeemable, Dick Horn? I mean, what hope did he have, being the satanic antichrist devil child of Mr. C? And
that's true.
It doesn't. That's one of the nice things, actually, about Twin Peaks, that whenever you sort of look at it in terms of its layers, like, Leland was essentially the sort of villain of the original series, but not really, only when you get to sort of the molecular level evil, like Bob, who was born in a nuclear bomb. But
you also get a sense with Fire Walk with Me, that questions are raised as to just how much Leland.
Yeah, but I'm ignoring that.
Well,
I don't like it.
I can't. And I like the fact that it makes it very, very hazy as to.
Well, you're a sicko, dude.
Yeah. I think it adds more layers.
I like how he cries when he's dying, and he's dying in that under that water sprinkler in the prison cell at the end of episode 14, I think it is, or 15. Nerd alert. But that is so moving.
I killed her. Oh my God. I killed my daughter. I didn't know. Forgive me.
He so obviously loves his daughter and is repentant for what he's done, and horrified at what he's done, because they weren't really his actions. So I think there's something that jars between that episode and the stuff in the series and what's hinted at in Fire Walk with Me, and I don't like it. And so I choose to ignore that suggestion in Fire Walk with Me, and I'm going to go with what the series sort of seems to portray, which is a sort of pitiable character.
To be honest, I still think Leland is a pitiable character, because I don't think he would have gone down the evil route without Bob. But he goes around on the trips away from home, where he's visiting prostitutes and that sort of stuff. So. I think you can still be, a pitiable, redeemable character and have that aspect to your life. And it's almost like, because he has this kind of like darkness to his soul that allowed Bob in to then magnify that and work to Bob's agenda. I think if Leland was totally good, Bob wouldn't have chosen him.
But again, it's a bit chicken and egg, because I mean, when Leland's talking about Bob, he says the first time he came to him is when he was a little boy, didn't he? When he was somebody living next door in the Palmer's summer residence or something. So I mean, you can say that darkness may well have been brought to him by, Bob sort of taking up residence inside his brain.
Yeah, and at that point, it's just a really great sort of cycle of abuse metaphor.
I tell you what's funny about coming back. We talked about it before, but having seen the original Twin Peaks and the film and stuff as a teenager, and then returning to it now as a sort of fully qualified professional grown-up, but quite seriously as a father, it's that's really the sort of impact of that stuff, particularly the darker sort of familial stuff with Ray Wise and Cheryl Lee in the Fire Walk With Me movie. It's just that has a sort of horrifying, terrible kind of quality to it that it just wasn't there on first reading.
Yeah.
So the sort of the significance of that evil, that level of evil, and the fact that like you said, Rob, that would resonate in a small town for a very long time.
Yeah, almost like
the murder of the homecoming queen, and repeated rape, by her father. Yeah. It's like it's really, really heavy stuff, and you don't realise necessarily how heavy it is until or certainly I didn't. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Because you watch it sort of from the perspective of the teenagers when you're a teenager. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful in another way. Coming back to it.
We get a little scene where Roger tells Mr. Todd that they've got Ike.
It's true. It's all over the news.
And then Todd calls over Anthony.
Anthony, come here.
And says that he has to get the Mitchum brothers to kill Dougie.
You're going to pin the blame for the insurance claim that we conspired to deny for them, a loss of $30 million that hit them hard, on the back of Douglas Jones. You're going to convince them that Mr. Jones has it out for the brothers, a personal vendetta. And then we're going to sit back and we're going to watch as the Mitchum brothers take care of our Mr. Jones problem.
And so that whole insurance thing that was going on was the work of Mr. Todd.
Looking forward to see how that sort of develops. I just hope it's not going to be, we're not going to leave that storyline now and then we're going to forget about it, and then in the last closing moments of the last episode, Doug is going to wake up and he's going to go, hang on, I'm not Dougie, I'm and then these guys turn up and blow his brains out.
That's probably exactly what's going to happen.
It's nice seeing Tom Sizemore playing someone who is compromised and intimidated and on the back foot, rather than the kind of stuff you usually see him play. Only thing is, Mr. Todd has kind of had his thunder stolen a fair whack since last week, now that he no longer seems to be answering to some shadowy figure we don't know about yet, who's probably Philip Jeffries, and is probably answering to Mr. C. Suddenly he's got far less cachet with me than he did previously.
I do like that actor though.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's just got like an edginess to him the whole time that I just really like.
He's like a bag of razors.
Yeah, he is in the hot seat. You know, he's very, he's very kind of, businesslike, saying if you don't convince them, you'll have to kill Dougie Jones yourself. But he has to answer to someone himself. He is the middle management of evil in this.
Welcome to the reception desk of evil.
It's just that I just really hope it's not Mr. C he's purely answering to. The idea of him answering to more than one person is just stretching it a bit. So, yeah.
Where does the money come from? Where does the money come from?
Well, he's had 25 years of doing evil stuff and crime.
Crime doesn't pay, though, Jason.
Well, for Mr. C, I think it does.
I mean, look at Mr. C's mates. He's got that funny woman that's got no teeth, and like Tim Roth and his sort of guffawing Jennifer Jason Leigh, who just sort of managed to sort of scrape enough money together to buy him a packet of crisps. I don't think he's the head of a major Vegas corporation. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm with Rob in that I'm hoping that it's not just Mr. C, because it starts to look like Jean-Claude Van Damme in Street Fighter or something like that.
Colonel, have you lost your mind?
No. You've lost your balls.
It's the hairstyle that makes me think of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I love Mr. C, but I can't buy him that he's... Where's all that money come from? I don't...
Yeah, see, what I would like is some villain we haven't met yet, this really powerful, really well-funded guy, who Mr. C is not phased by. We need someone with a different kind of set of resources to compare Mr. C to.
Philip Jeffries is still there in the background.
Yeah, he's really far in the background now, isn't he? You know, it's been a hell of a long time since we've heard about him.
Remind me, what does his voice sound like?
No.
We've got a very nice scene after last week where Albert and Constance seem to be enjoying each other's company. They go on a dinner date.
I thought it was a bit cheesy, that.
I liked Albert and what's her name?
Constance.
I liked Albert and Constance hitting it off. I thought the scene was killed by Gordon and Tammy watching and commenting.
I must say it was terribly odd. It was a little bit odd. It was like sort of...
This is Twin Peaks we're talking about. You're complaining about things being odd.
Yeah, but no, I mean odd in not a good way. Not in a positive way. It was odd in a sort of like, why are they behaving like sort of 6-year-olds pointing at their mate in the playground. Back me up, Rob.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hated that. I thought, don't say it's sweet. Leave me to feel it sweet. Don't tell me what to feel. Now I no longer feel it sweet. So I actually went from enjoying the long shot of Albert and forgotten her name again already. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Constance, them. I enjoyed that. I thought that's cute, fine, but leave it at that. And then it was killed for me in the same scene. So
thanks, Rob.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mark.
We've got the casino scene that we touched on earlier, where the Mitchell brothers send Candy out to go and bring Anthony in to see them, and she starts waffling on about the air conditioning, and eventually brings Anthony in, where he lays it on quite thickly, I thought.
You have an enemy, Douglas Jones.
Yeah, it's a nice scene though. I mean, I thought a lot of these scenes were sort of relatively solid compared to other scenes from other episodes. You know.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of episodes where they're sort of, the scenes are sort of functional. They move things along, but they're not particularly impressive. This episode was sort of pretty much full of sort of fairly solid scenes, relatively solid at least in terms of this Twin Peaks: A Return.
Yeah, not a lot to say about this other than the Mitchum brothers are now convinced that Dougie Jones has not only taken them for the hello winnings, but also 30 million insurance, and they're out to get him. And from there, we go to a bizarro scene where Gordon is drawing a deer with a giant hand reaching over it, which was just quite bizarre. I wasn't quite sure why Gordon would be drawing that.
I think Lynch just sort of dropped out of character there for a minute while he was doodling away.
I felt like, is this Gordon Cole or is this David Lynch? at this coffee table.
It definitely felt more Lynch to me than Gordon Cole.
What did it mean, though? What did it mean?
I don't know. We can only.
There was
speculate.
a deer and a hand coming out of the sky.
I don't know.
Come on, what did it mean? Come on, let's just hazard a guess.
Well, its antlers to me look like bolts of lightning, upside down. But I didn't study it too hard.
I mean, he's just been to Buckhorn. A buck is a male deer. Horns.
The horns are very prominent. Yeah,
horns, bucks,
Buckhorn. So potentially.
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, there's a knock at the door. Lynch. Gordon answers the door, and for some bizarro reason sees some strange footage from Firewalk with Me.
Hologram of Laura.
Yeah,
somebody's messing with him. Room service are really having a ball, aren't they?
Yeah. So a couple of weird thoughts struck me. One, why use that particular scene?
Because she's standing at a door, but why not get? But
but it's such a weird thing. It's like she's answering the door at an angle. Like if she was answering the door looking straight at the audience, it might have worked. But I
can't remember exactly how it's shot, but there is something weird about it. It's almost like there's a line cross or something, like they're not looking in the right place, or it's also the way that she's sort of shot sort of fairly close up, like head and shoulders. The footage that they're reusing is sort of like head and shoulders, and he's sort of like it's quite a mid shot, sort of waist up sort of thing, and the two sort of fit really weirdly together. Yeah, it's very jarring.
I mean, they've got the real Laura Palmer, as part of the cast.
I know, but she's about 50 now, isn't she?
Yeah, but 40, even so, 45. And just like some kind of like strange spectral appearance from the real Laura Palmer.
Definitely.
I mean, she is established in this as a denizen of the lodge now. So
no, you're absolutely right. It should have been something a little bit more creative than that. Just a reflection in the glass of a hanging picture or something. Just something.
It was a little too. Yeah. I can't quite describe it, but it just didn't seem to work for me. I mean, they've used stock footage in a really good way in previous
before, with Bob and stuff.
In this instance, it was supposed to be jarring, and it was jarring, but could have been better, I think.
What I get the feeling of is that they've sort of left a lot to the VFX department that just didn't work out in the end. That didn't pan out. Maybe with the Mr. Jackpot stuff and this, and I don't know if it's a different VFX house that they had working on episode 8, because all that was just flawless. It was incredible, that stuff.
Yeah, the stuff for episode 8 was a French visual effects company called Buff, and this sort of stuff feels like the editorial team kind of throwing stuff together,
just
rather than
stuff
a
together,
VFX team. But
I mean, it just seems like there's been a few problems that have been left to be solved in post that just didn't pan out.
I think it's a budgetary thing, because I think originally I think Showtime said you can have 8 or 9 episodes, and Lynch was like no, we need to make this 18 episodes. So clearly it's not like they just magicked double the budget, and I think certain cuts had to be made. There were certain key shots that had to be done and were sent off to Buff, and as a budgetary thing, I think they were like, okay, well, let's see what visual effects we can do in-house.
Do you know what? I think 9 episodes, I can't help thinking that would have been smart. I think just packing all this stuff into 9 episodes, having all these story strands sort of closer together, and sort of filtering out the stuff that's not really necessary. And
that has been on my mind for some time. That
would have helped this massively. I would much rather have had like a really solid series of 9 or 10 episodes than this. Episode 8 aside, of course,
which almost stands alone as like a separate work of art. That we spoke about when we talked about episode 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for artists kind of getting their own way and sort of having sort of total control over the work. But sometimes, just sometimes, you benefit from the restrictions of commerce on art, you know?
Yeah.
And this might be one of those times.
The fact that he could get 18 episodes is not necessarily an argument that he should have done. But let's see.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. When you've got constraints, you end up with Mulholland Drive. When you don't have constraints, you get Inland Empire. I think that's the difference.
If you don't have any external constraints placed upon you, you have to find some to place on yourself, I think.
Yeah.
That's the nut you have to crack, And the mistake is if no one's placing any on you and you're not placing any on yourself, that's when your work starts to sprawl and get flabby around the middle.
Well, I am going to bring things back on track again and say the person at the door is Albert with some shocking information.
Diane received this text on her phone at 11:13 this morning. Around the dinner table, the conversation is lively. Now, that came in after Cooper escaped. It pinged off a cell tower in Philly, so at first I thought it was one of her boyfriends. Seems she has a stable of male suitors. But Tammy traced this one back from there to a server in Mexico.
Mexico? Did she respond?
She sent the following heavily encrypted message. They have Hastings. He's going to take them to the site. Doesn't sound like boyfriend talk.
Yeah, I'm a bit bummed out by this because I don't want this to be the case. I don't want Laura Dern's character. I don't want Diane to sort of have been sort of pulling a fast one when she met Mr. C. I really liked the sincerity of that performance. That I thought was very moving, and it kind of created a sort of emotional centre for the first time in the series. And if she was sort of putting it all on, if it was all a kind of a sort of double performance, I'm left feeling a bit sort of like,
What was it that Gordon said? It was something about the way
He said,
I felt it when she hugged me, but this confirms it.
Yeah, that was a bit lame, I thought, as well. Because it's a bit double, isn't it? Because she said that thing about, I knew it was not Cooper because he wasn't Cooper in here, and she gestured towards her heart. And there's just something really kind of moving about that, and I just feel a bit deceived if that's not. I know what you're going to say.
It could well be that she's working to her own agenda. She's been deluded in some way. So I still can believe that her reaction was genuine, and it doesn't preclude this other. Just because the FBI guys think that she's now colluding with Mr. C, doesn't mean that's actually the case. So anyway, another thing that we learn from this scene is that the FBI are planning on taking Hastings to the spot, which I presumably is where he entered what was the zone.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting foreshadowing for future episodes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited about that. Let's get in the fucking woods. Let's get in the woods at night with the flashlight and get some real peaky stuff going on. Yeah. Where's the owls? Where's the campfires? Where's the urinating out in the open air? Come on, that's where Twin Peaks is. It's in the woods. It's at night.
Toasting marshmallows and
all this fucking about sort of 5-star hotels. Get out and private planes. Fuck off.
They also have a photo of Mr. C in.
Yeah, Tammy turns up with a photo. Yeah,
she was particularly bad, I thought, in that.
Oh, she's just awful all the time.
Well, I think we can just shrug our shoulders and go, okay.
Yeah, but
she's not a great actress, but she's been manufactured for a purpose, which is to hand people photographs and pout.
Yeah. Also, that photograph confused me.
Do you need explaining what a photograph is? Is that what it was?
No, that one confused me. Not the technology.
What is this witchcraft?
What have they done? This is incredible.
This moment captured in light on paper.
It's the glass chamber in the New York loft conversion place with Mr. C as kind of an apparition in the glass box.
Well, Tammy comes in and says that this was one of the first shots taken. It's from like one of the first batch of photographs taken, and Mr. C isn't in the box. He stood next to the box, and he's talking to somebody who's got his back to us. So there's actually two people in the shot.
Oh, if I
totally read it like he was sitting in a chair in the box or something.
No.
Oh, I thought he was in the box.
Okay. No, he stood next to the box talking to somebody else. Both of them outside of the box.
Oh, if I twigged that,
I don't know how you can see that, and I didn't.
Okay. Now, if I twigged that, I'd have been much more hostile from the opening of this podcast than I was. So Mr. C is directly involved in the Manhattan project.
It would seem so. It would seem like Mr. C is the mysterious billionaire who owns the place in New York and is the boss of Mr. Todd.
Yeah,
okay.
It was obvious it was going that way last week, but it's just a bit disappointing.
This is what I'm talking about with trying to hold on to little strings of hope of the. Please let the story not go the way I think it's quite clearly going to go.
And then I come along with a big pair of shears and cut those strings.
Hey, I'm not going to shoot the messenger. It's yeah.
We get a little scene with Ben at the Great Northern. He gets a call from Sylvia.
Yeah.
And they're clearly separated. He's saying, I'm not going to send you any more money.
But at least it retcons the whole sort of... Because you were concerned last week that what's going on if this thing just happened to Johnny, why isn't he more concerned? Why is he flirting about with Ashley Judd? So we see him get to know about that. So at least that doesn't make him look as awful as he might have done.
Yeah, because his priority in that conversation is how's Johnny?
Yeah.
He's exasperated and finally says,
Beverly, do you want to have dinner with me?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit oof.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
Again, it was a sort of sledgehammer where before we'd had sort of very delicate kind of chemistry and sort of waltzing towards something.
But I think if we'd not had that second scene with Ben and Beverly, then I think going from the first scene to this scene would have worked a little better.
Maybe, yeah. We didn't need that bloody scene.
I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is in the scheme of things unimportant. Let's go to Margaret talking to Hawk, which I thought was quite a nice scene. It had Hawk just nodding in his office, listening to Margaret Lanterman.
Hawk did the right amount of talking.
Yeah.
In this scene, I thought that was
you guys are so mean on Hawk. I don't mind him at all.
Oh no! He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, he is great. I feel that we're being a bit mean in general in this episode. I feel like I'm being a right Debbie Downer, but
I feel provoked though.
Yeah.
No. Hawk listening is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's to frame it the other way. That
was his shtick though. I mean, that was always his thing, that he would sort of his eyebrows would sort of furrow a little bit, and he would sort of nod, sort of slowly, understanding something that perhaps no one else in the room did, and
he would absorb and then process the information.
The silent Bob of Twin Peaks. Yeah.
So what Margaret has to say is quite interesting. She says,
Hawk, electricity is humming. You hear it in the mountains and rivers. You see it dance among the seas and stars and glowing around the moon. But in these days, The glow is dying. What will be in the darkness that remains? The Truman brothers are both true men. They are your brothers. And the others, the good ones who have been with you. Now the circle is almost complete. Watch and listen to the dream of time and space. It all comes out now, flowing like a river. That which is and is not. Hawk. Laura is the one.
Yeah, I thought lyrically it was a bit weird. The Truman brothers are true men. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then the following line is like, the Truman brothers are both true men. They are your brothers. It's like, okay, we've got too many brothers in there, but yeah. Maybe this is how the log talks. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit of moonlight, a bit of log holding. You know, that's Twin Peaks, isn't it?
Talk of electricity.
Yeah, like all that.
We didn't really maybe we didn't need to, but we didn't really enter the scene in any particularly special way, did we? It was just we cut to them on the phone together.
Yeah, it's
going
true.
on.
Yeah, it's that whole thing about sort of drama being about entrances and exits, and this didn't really have either. But I mean, you know, it also felt like you could have put that in the second episode or in the fifth episode or anywhere really. But other than the fact that it sort of is a precursor for the song, which is I guess we've had this imagery of the moon and electricity and light, stars, whatever. You know, and then the song that comes immediately afterwards.
Yeah, which is called No Stars, and was written by Lynch, sang by Rebecca Del Rio from Mulholland Drive.
From Mulholland Drive, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're like halfway through now, so are we sort of in Empire Strikes Back territory? Are we about to witness the sort of darkest point of the return? It feels like that. It feels like the dark side is winning at the moment. I guess that's what I nice to see Rebecca Del Rio, and nice to sort of be reminded of the Mulholland Drive soundtrack. But that dress, that dress just was like, I mean, that's a major sin, I think.
Yeah.
You know, talking about fourth wall, that was a major fourth wall faux pas. And maybe she sort of came into work and she was like, look, David, I've put on me Twin Peaks dress. Isn't it brilliant? I thought, you know, perfect for the occasion. And he just didn't want to, maybe she seemed so happy about it that he didn't have the heart to sort of tell her to change it.
They were going, now, did you bring any other dresses? No, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I've only got one Twin Peaks dress, and this is it.
Well, I kind of feel like now we've had 9 Inch Nails on. I kind of feel that these scenes are breaking the fourth wall. It's almost like on a British variety show from the 60s or 70s, where everything just stops while the latest number one gets played on the It's a weird.
Well, I think you could be right, Rob, because in episode, I think it was episode 2, the band that was playing, the guitarist or the bass player, I can't remember which, had a green ring, an owl ring on whilst he was playing, so that was a little kind of like, okay.
But that kind of thing, I mean, but
that was easier to miss. I mind
that less. That's sort of, yeah, exactly. That's maybe like a nice touch for the eagle-eyed among us. But I mean, this was sort of like a foghorn on a ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Just too much and way too indulgent. I mean, what was it, like 6-minute track or something? I mean, I know people were moaning about 9 Inch Nails, and I was saying I was fine with it, But I sort of, if that's how people were feeling about Nine Inch Nails, then I get it, because this was like...
It is in my notes here. Very long closing song with 3 E's in the very.
Yeah.
And did anyone notice, and I'll ask you, Rob, did you notice that Mark was actually playing the drums in the band?
Was I?
Go back and look at
That's my doppelganger.
Yeah, that's the evil Mark playing the drums there in the background.
The bad Mark is in Twin Peaks season 3. Yes.
Yeah.
Write it in your diary.
I can't get out. Oh yeah, the other thing as well is that to sort of add insult to injury, is that she was wearing that dress, the chevron dress, and she seemed to be sort of doing her best Sherilyn Fenn impersonation as well.
Do you know what? Rena said that as well.
Like with the hair and the makeup, and yeah, it was just wrong. No. Apart from the voice, which was beautiful and transcendent, and
oh yeah, and I really like the song as well.
Yeah, I like the song, and I mean it's kind of quintessential Lynchian sort of melancholy, celestial sadness, no stars. It was kind of reminded me a bit of World of Blue, that kind of thing. No problem whatsoever with the song. I just think that was a major fashion fourth wall faux pas.
That's it for this episode of the Formica Table podcast. Next week we'll be looking at episode 11 of Twin Peaks: The Return and sharing our thoughts, opinions and theories, because I caught 2 brown trout in my pyjamas. Until then, let's rock.
You're going to get reincarnated as something wonderful in your next life, like a unicorn or something.